Welcome to the Nebraska Land Bank podcast.
I'm Ty.
I'm David.
I'm Danielle, and we're your hosts. In each episode, we'll sit down with local guests to highlight the incredible people and stories that make our community unique.
From finance to sports, community events to local businesses, we've got it all covered. Join us as we dive into the heart of our community.
This is the Nebraska Land Bank podcast, always community-minded.
Every voice.
Every topic.
Every time.
So turn the volume up, settle in,
and let's talk Nebraska Land.
Alrighty, friends, and welcome back to the Nebraska Land Bank podcast. Danielle Remus, Ty Lucas. I'm David Fudge. Good to have you back. We're through festival season, the Queen season here in North Platte, wrapping up the summer here. Kids will be back in school relatively quickly. It feels like
I'm
sorry.
Stop that.
Why, it's true.
We're only like halfway through summer.
It's just beginning.
Okay, maybe 2/3.
Why is it that it feels like when the 4th of July happens, everything just goes and you're like summer's almost over?
Yeah, and I always feel like it's just beginning.
Really?
Yeah, because Nebraska days, you're just so tight. Like all of that is so crazy. It doesn't feel like summer to me until after 4th of July.
See, it always felt to me like once you got through the 4th, summer was dang near
That's
over.
what everybody says, but I disagree.
No, I'm in your camp, Danielle. I think summer starts July 15th and ends Labor Day. That's my summer.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'll go with that. I like that theory. So we're going to talk some fun stuff in the city of North Platte. You know, one of the great things we get to do is talk about some things that are going on. There's been a lot of change in our community over the course of the past few years, which we've touched on a bunch on the program. But we always like to start things off with an icebreaker question, and this one's going to look in the rears just a little bit. Go ahead.
Okay, so everybody in this room has grown up in the area. So what is one location or place that you spent a lot of time at growing up?
Hey, me first?
Sure.
All right. We can't forget our guest on this one either, because I'm anxious to hear his response.
Me too.
I'm going to say Westfield Shopping Center, okay? From the time I was in kindergarten through graduating from high school, I lived about 3 blocks from Westfield Shopping Center. And I don't remember a time in my life I didn't either work at the furniture store or was mowing lawns. And so I usually had a little bit of money to do some discretionary things with. And back in the day, you could go to Ben Franklin.
Oh,
when the Honerman family owned it.
Yeah.
And baseball cards, candy,
football cards,
G.I. Joes, things like that.
Oh, yeah.
You had what would be Vic's Corn Popper at that point, now the Popcorner, that at that point was famous for bubblegum ice cream, which was a big deal back in the day.
It was a big deal.
And then actually, and I know this dates me a bit, you could go over into Starting Gate and they give you the little 6-lit chocolates and you could buy New York seltzers, which I'm fairly convinced has fueled today's alcohol-based seltzer crowd, because of all of us back in the day used to get the New York seltzers that were non-alcoholic when we were kids. And so
those are the little stubby bottles, right?
Yeah, little stubby bottles, colorful, like raspberry New York seltzer.
I remember
those? Oh, yeah, that apparently fueled the White Claw formation of the future, I think. But anyway.
We all drink that stuff because we grew up on New York seltzers.
So anyway, long answer to a short question, but Westfield used to be a place where I would conduct my commerce as a young man.
There you go.
That's so funny. I have to change my answer now. Originally, I was going to say Lake Maloney because my family was there all the time. We camped all summer. But now that you mentioned that, I grew up on the east side of town, so it was True Value.
Oh,
I love True Value.
Yeah.
We would always go to True Value.
What was it? Dave Cotton, right? Was it the Cotton family that kind of ran
and
that
John
thing?
Lowski.
Yes.
And remember the roasted nut offering?
You'd walk in there and the whole place smelled like roasted cashews. And I love roasted cashews.
I bought my first box of hair dye from True Value. That was a mistake, let me tell you.
You've been buying it ever since.
Yeah.
Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah.
Okay, I got it. You remember a place down, it used to be the old 6th Street office, called W.C. Frank's.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, it was kind of a hot dog eatery, but they had a video game arcade in there that was second to none when it was going. And I'm dating myself a little bit now, but that's where the Hub International office would be now. You'd walk in there, and if you were fortunate enough to get good enough grades at North Platte High School, they let you out for honor lunch or whatever they called it. You get to leave the building and didn't have to eat the cafeteria food. So we would go to W.C. Frank's. and have lunch and play video games and then begrudgingly go back to school because that's what we had to do. But yeah, that was one of the places I kind of looked forward to growing up all the time.
That may have settled into the Caldwell family with the Pizza Ranch concept because, Jeff's from our era,
I
too,
know,
from North Platte.
I know. It's amazing how influential those arcade video games were in our lifetimes when we were kids, because they were new back when we were young. All right. So our guest today is Lyle Minshull. He's with City of North Platte, Parks and Recs Division. Grew up in Sutherland, I understand.
That's correct.
So where did you hang out when you were a kid?
Well, you remember the Mayberry, the town Mayberry. Well, that's kind of like what Sutherland was kind of like back then.
All right.
The drugstore had the fountain drinks, that you could mix and stuff like that, and you had the little round stools at the bar there and stuff like that. That was kind of one of the favorite things to hang out too. But But
we had that in a while in North Platte, the old Woolworth store downtown.
I almost went to Woolworths. That was going to be my next.
Yeah.
That was still operational there in our younger years. I can't remember about what time it wrapped up, but yeah, that was a cool place to hang out too.
Sure. I also was a paper boy, and so I traveled to town every day, and of course we didn't get to throw the papers. We had to walk up to the door and put the paper in the door. And so
you didn't get to wake everybody up by throwing it against the door.
We didn't get to do that. No, doggone it. And then, of course, like Danielle was, I enjoyed going to the lake there at the Southern Reservoir.
Oh, yeah.
So we did a lot of that. And
very cool.
Yeah.
Well, Lyle now is in charge of Parks and Rec, and there's been more change maybe in that division than there maybe in the last few years than maybe there'd been in 40 years.
Yeah, amen to that, because I've been there, that long.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the big one that gets everybody's attention is the rec center, and we're kind of is it a midway point, 3/4 the way point? Where are we at in that construction project?
We
today?
are getting fairly close to wrapping up phase one.
Okay.
We have 3 phases. First phase is the pool, turf area, and then the east, what we call the east wing, where it has meeting rooms, yoga balcony, and a 24-hour area.
Okay.
And so we're getting close to that. They just got finished up removing the pool so that we can start finishing up phase one. So phase 2 is where the pool was taken out, will be a new gymnasium.
Okay.
That'll be phase 2. And then phase 3 will be renovating all the rest of the original building and bring it up to snuff, bringing all the basketball courts up to the same type of flooring and stuff like that. So
okay, so we're just kind of turning the corner on phase one.
Where we've got the pool open and it's well received. We have a lot of people going in there. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And then we're going to be about ready to open up, maybe towards the end of the month, open up the turf area, which has the large climbing wall.
Okay.
Now, Lyle, if you were to put the 3 phases together as one project, because it will happen continuously, so it's not like phase 2 and 3 are 10 years down the road or anything.
Right.
The end of phase 1, would that represent like the 50% point of the whole project, or 60? I mean, just in a rough sense.
Yeah, I suppose, you'd right. Financially, that would probably be right, about halfway, But once we get that portion of that building, that's probably the biggest part of the construction part. Right.
Phase 1 has the most true construction to it.
Yeah. A lot of the rest of it's renovation and repurposing. I don't know about you two, Danielle and Ty, but when I saw the old dome come down, I got a little bit melancholy about the whole thing, because we grew up there. I grew up in that building and swam in that thing a lot. It was kind of
I didn't have the sentimental attachment to the dome, but
my view, and this probably has a little bit of my city council hat on, this not my banker hat today, but to me, we were overdue to do the project, and it took the major push from people like Lyle and Barr, who've been worked so hard for so many years to keep that facility operational and good. I was kind of mad at it. I wanted it to go away because I wish my kids would have got to enjoy it, because in my opinion, we were 10 years late as a community, and that's certainly not a negative reflection on the staff. That's a negative reflection on, frankly, economics and leadership, in my opinion. And so we certainly got behind on that project. Now, the great thing of that is we're going to have everything modern in it.
Yeah.
And so even though, in my opinion, we were maybe 10 years late building it, I think we're going to make up for it with what the community gets out of it, don't you, Lyle?
Absolutely, yeah. I wished it would happen 10 years ago, too, from a staff standpoint, because it, though 70 is the new 50, but...
yeah, that's right.
No, I love that.
Yeah.
But, it's wonderful. I mean, what I've seen through the stages of the construction and the reception that people coming in now are able to come in and enjoy it. And we used to, I go back to the 6-lane pool, the old 6-lane pool that we had there with the dome. We'd have to close down part of the pool for either swim team practice, or we'd have to close it down part of the pool for just to open up the water slide.
Right.
Now we don't have to do that. Nothing is really closed down now, so it's just phenomenal. We actually have 3 pools in there, and so we're able to do that, including a hot tub and a sauna. So it's
what a great thing for the community.
Absolutely. And we have a kind of a unique thing called a ninja course that comes down, and we're able to do ninja races. I don't know if you ever seen the ninja games.
Yeah.
Over water. Well, this is over water also, and so we'll have it open up a couple days a week. And
Ty, I think you and I ought to go do that. And just see what happens.
I'm up for it.
Let's go do it.
Yeah,
we'll take the video camera and see what happens.
Yeah.
Be looking for that.
We could record a podcast from the ER. And back to our point about that is, imagine that everybody buys their first house when they're like, 25 or 30, but you've got that friend that buys it at 35 or 40, and their house is just pretty awesome. Their first house is pretty awesome because they saved and they planned and they just did it at a different point in life. That's the way I see this rec center project. Yes, we were probably late versus other communities, but boy, we're going to love what the result is.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. So much more to come, too. Through the phases, and one of the things that we look at too is the sports tourism part of it. We're able to accommodate a lot more of that and bring all that, a lot more tax dollars into the community, and have that revenue available to us for that too. So
because a lot of the high school swim meets wouldn't even come here because you couldn't accommodate them.
That's correct. Correct. Yeah, and now we'll probably be looking at not only swimming, but we'll be looking at water polo. We'll be looking at synchronized swimming, believe it or not.
Wow.
Visit North Platte's been working on a lot of things, and then we're going to be bringing people in to tour the facility and stuff like that.
Very cool.
Yeah, and of course the basketball courts. Most of your organizers throughout the country, require a minimum of 6 courts. We didn't have under one roof, and so we'll now have that, and so we'll be able to bring in the basketball, the tennis, the pickleball.
Yeah.
And it's all under one roof, and so it's
remarkable.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Now that's one piece of what basically voters got approved. I mean, there's a whole bunch of work that went on over at Cody Park and is still going on as well. There was also a skate park that got updated through all this as well. And so why don't you talk about, first of all, the skate park, which is open.
That's correct. Yep. We opened it up as soon as last fall. We kind of had a soft opening, and they use it, and it's busy all the time there too. And then again, that'll be another thing that they'll be able to bring competitions in, throughout the region, and do some fun things with that too.
Yeah.
So, if nobody's aware where it's at, it's in Centennial Park, just south of the hospital, and so. Yeah, you talk about a podcast in the ER, they maybe have to do.
If we tried that one, we would definitely do it from the ER.
Yeah. I'm going to be more of a fan over there than a participant.
Yeah, I think that's probably a safe assumption for me, too.
I don't know that you could drop a better model, though, for how to accomplish a public good project. We need to keep the skate park in the history of our town, because it started with passionate people who raised money and brought public awareness, and that happened for a while. It was planned. Okay, then then it got packaged with the rec center project from a funding standpoint for the gap. You had the Mid-Nebraska Community Foundation holding money, and so then the synergies of funding it came with the rec center and Cody Park. then you had a community group of people that really knew about the industry and that type of entertainment that worked on design, public input. A specialty contractor was selected. They were out of state, which at first, as a city councilman, I was like, well, do we really want to have a out-of-state contractor? But we relied on the expertise of Lyle and the people on the staff, along with the community input. And they said, no, this is the right fit. This is the right design. And they had a great resume. They executed the project perfectly. And it launched
we're
perfectly.
pleased, yeah.
And so if you just look at that whole deal over a 10-year, probably a 7 to 10 year span, Lyle, would it have been that long start to finish
For the
skate park?
skate park? Oh, no, a lot longer.
Longer than
I would
10
say
years.
more like a 15-year
Yeah,
span.
I remember maybe 15 years ago there was some noise being made about, hey, we need an improvement here, because back in those days it lived kind of off the corner of Leota and McDonald there, just south of the wreck. And it was kind of a smallish facility, and now what we have is big, beautiful, modern. And sometimes the expert does come from out of state. I mean, you just don't see a lot of skate park contractors, I suppose, from the Midwest. I suppose you've got to go somewhere to find them where to specialize in that sort of thing.
Yeah, we went out for an RFP. We were surprised how many responded to it and how many companies they do these nationwide. This is their thing, and this is what they do, and it's not a problem to go to the East Coast, from the West Coast to East Coast, to build a skate park.
Yeah.
So,
Isn't that crazy?
and then we're not done with skate parks.
No.
We're going to take the equipment that we removed from the rec center, and we're going to add it to another park called Curly Park over on the corner of 14th and Madison.
Oh, that's
so-
cool.
Boy, that area looks fantastic compared
Oh,
to where it was a
man.
few years ago.
I drove by that shortly after because there were some old trailer homes in that. This is the area straight south of Madison Middle School.
Yep.
On the corner of 14th and Madison. And I drove by there shortly after they removed all those trailer homes. Man, that just cleaned up that entire neighborhood.
Well, and the church there has just done an
Yes.
amazing job of rehabilitating that area. And then you have the new Mulligan Meadows housing subdivision over by Madison School.
Well, you talk about synergies. There's
Yeah.
just a lot going on right there between what the chamber's doing and what the city's done and what the church has done, and there's just a whole bunch of cool things going on right there. So, what other types of things will go on in that Curly Park then?
Well, obviously we have the skate park, and I don't know if you remember 308 BMX group.
Yes, yeah.
They had purchased a pump track with a lot of humps. It's an oval track with a lot of humps, and you can go up and then you let the gravity pump you up to the next hump, and you can go without even having to put a foot down off a skateboard or a bicycle or anything like that. So there'll be a pump track in there.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, very popular.
Another thing is I'll call it a miniature soccer field, if you will, but it'll be caged with fencing, and it'll also double as a basketball court and a pickleball court. You can have turf on it, but I think we'll probably have just a regular. But we'll have one of those in there, and then we'll have probably another fitness area or a ninja course, if you will. We'd like to put that in there for all ages. Have something in there for adults to have fitness in there, and as well as and we'll put plenty of grass, plenty of picnic tables and stuff like that in there.
Neat.
too. Yeah.
Neat. Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, the other crown jewel of everything going on is over at Cody Park.
Yep.
And there are some major renovations going on and have been going on for, 18 months, Ty? Is that about right?
Yeah, I'd say, if you go back to the tennis and pickleball facility, it'd be a little further than that, Dave.
That's right.
Yeah, I forgot about the tennis and pickleball upgrades. So you just walk us through everything that's happening over in kind of that quadrant there.
Yeah. Well, the tennis courts, obviously was back started about around 2024. And we're in bad need of tennis courts.
Oh, yeah.
We're really in disrepair, and so we were able to contract a group, and we put in what they call post-tension concrete courts. What they do is pour concrete over a grid of cables, and then once the concrete is set up, they'll go in there and stretch them cables like they do a guitar string. And so that holds that concrete. Concrete will still crack, but it'll hold them cracks together, so they're all just hairline cracks. And then they're able to cover over the top of them. So we have 10 pickleball courts, which is phenomenal for this area. And then again, we have the 8 tennis courts. High school loves the tennis courts because they can play. They can play a major tournament in one area.
Yeah,
and that's what this is all about: is to play, the sports, the games in one area. And so that was done, and then we went into the water park. We renovated the main pool and added a couple slides, another climbing wall into the main thing. But we didn't do a lot with the main pool. We had it all sandblasted and repainted. We had a significant addition to the bathhouse. We were able to have a lot of changing rooms, family changing rooms, as well as a larger concession stand. Then you get into the fun part of the lazy river, if you will. That'll accommodate a zero depth entry, and then it will have a lot of kid toys and stuff like that with it. It'll have what they call a Baja shelf. You know what a Baja shelf is?
I don't.
No. Okay, what is this?
This is more like for our speed.
Okay.
What it is it'll be a place where it'll have like 6 to 12 inches of water that you can set the lounge chair in. And
I think we finally got to the podcast location.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We could go on the road.
Yeah, let's take it on the road because I don't think we'll wind up in the ER from a Baja shelf.
Yeah, and there's other little pools along the lazy river that a person can go in and just sit and relax under an umbrella, or you can float on a little raft, little tube. Or you can, and they say it's a great exercise thing too, that you can walk against the current. Yeah. So it's a great rehab, great
I'll be darned.
Exercise type thing too. So.
How deep is the lazy river approximately?
Oh, it'll be 4 feet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
So it'll float pretty good.
Yeah, it will. And then we got 2 wonderful giant water slides over there too. And we got room for one more. If we ever get the money, we'll put another one in.
I'll be darned.
And then we made some space for another splash pad too, much like the one we have in Memorial Park.
Well, we were talking a little bit before recording. New little roller coaster over there at Cody Park as well.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a few other new things too.
Yeah. Well, last year we had the carousel horses
Yes.
repainted. Holly did an absolutely wonderful job with that.
What a great
she's
resource for our
phenomenal.
community.
Oh yeah. It's wonderful. I mean, they're probably back to a better paint job than what they were originally.
Yeah.
Because they they were so much into production of merry-go-rounds back then.
Yeah.
So that's a priceless thing there that we have, and
Yeah.
it's been well taken care of. We've spent several hundreds of thousands of dollars to refurbish that through the years, and so we've got a good thing going there. And then the good old wagon dragon. Yeah.
I love the wagon dragon.
Or the dragon wagon, whatever you want to
call it.
Yeah. City Administrator Lane and I, we had been in long conversations to trying to look and see if we could find something. And of course, new amusement rides are they're just
Crazy expensive.
crazy. Exactly. And so I happened to come across this one, and it was located in about as far south in Texas as you could go.
Okay.
And so found it, and price is right. And of course, it had been sitting there, and so it needed some work. And I got to hand it to the park employees. They did a phenomenal job of refurbishing that and getting it all put back up. And then we commissioned a guy to repaint it too. And so what you see is a nice new paint job on it. But a lot of screams. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, you've been busy.
To these kids, I mean, to us, it's not a very big roller coaster, but to these kids, that's a monstrosity. It's like what you probably see at Six Flags, and so it's kind of neat to have that type of activity there, and the positive experience you have with that. It is just really, really neat.
Do you know about the wristbands?
Do not know about the wristbands.
yeah.
So why
So
don't you
this is-
educate
This is
educate
new
us
and
here?
exciting information.
Educate us.
So Lyle and his team came up with a concept of going to a $10 wristband for unlimited rides, and so the city amended its fee schedule, I think effective mid-July. Is that right, Lyle?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, effective basically immediately. And so now families can do a $10 unlimited wristband for ridings versus the traditional tickets. And so the idea there was to keep it very affordable, family friendly, but to encourage longer stays and to simplify the ticket process and some of that. So it's just an alternative.
Right.
The standard pricing staying intact, but it's just an extra option for people, and I think it'll be really popular.
Yeah,
I agree.
I know it's not quite as exciting, but I still think important. But Lyle, you might touch on the water fountain, concrete flag, gazebo, just some of these other. It's funny how when something gets going, the momentum just keeps a lot of positive things. But there's several other little projects in the park too. Some of them aren't so little.
That's right. Well, you mentioned the concrete flag. We had a flag out there on the east end of Cody Park that was getting kind of in disrepair again.
Yep.
We had some volunteers come forward and took care of that, and it's beautiful. Really nice, really nice. And if you go just a little bit further north and east of that flag, we're putting up another 40 by 60 open air pavilion. And so we've got that going. And
where will that be located?
You know where the playground was there on the east end of the Cody Park? We have the new one now.
Yes.
But the old one was just a little bit north.
Yes.
It'll be
right
that
in there.
exact location there.
Nice.
So it'll be right in the middle of all the horseshoe courts, disc golf, baseball, softball fields, playground, train museum. So, it'll be a nice place for people to go and enjoy. Unfortunately, we won't be able to go ride the dragon unless they walk across the park. But
But it is just a short walk over
yes,
there.
it is. Yes, it is. Yeah. Iron Horse Park. We're going to be refurbishing the trail out at Iron Horse Park.
Okay.
As well as adding the trail to go clear around the park.
Okay.
And so that'll be a nice addition, especially for the travelers that come through. You'd be surprised how many stop there.
Yeah.
If they go visit the 20th Century War Memorial or the playground there that the Kiwanis have put in, or just even to walk, and a lot of fishing piers.
Yeah.
Game and Parks come in and help us out putting fishing piers. So that's another park that has a lot of activity.
Isn't that crazy?
And a lot of ability to do that too.
Neat.
You mentioned the fountain. Is there a project with the fountain?
It's preliminary stages. Is that right, Lyle? Is there a group working on the water fountain? Is that right?
Yes. The fountain that's in the middle of Cody Park.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right along the main road, the road there that goes by
Right.
the activity area on the
Yeah.
left.
The history behind that, a kind of neat little history. If you go to the building, I guess where Double Dips is right now, that used to be a corner was cut off. That was the cornerstone for that building.
Okay.
If you go back and look at the historical pictures, but now we're trying to get that all refurbished and back up to snuff, and so we have a nice fountain there again too.
Neat.
We've been repainting, sealing cracks for a lot of years, and it's something that needs to be
Sure.
a little bit more intense maintenance on it.
Yeah.
So.
It really speaks volumes about where our community's kind of come from here in the last 5, 6, 7 years. And we don't want to, much of what we've talked about today is the result of some hard work that went in by some members of our community to kind of get a ballot issue to put on and to get this stuff started. So we don't want to forget to mention those people, because a lot of this momentum started with that effort. And so I know, Ty, you were involved with a little bit. I still have a bottle of Rekia seasoning, I think, in my spice cabinet.
I still get some requests for that.
I do
but,
too. I just used that the other day, and I used a little bit too much.
Oh,
It was a little spicy.
Yeah, there's a blackening.
Yeah.
See, there's some spice in that.
when a community is growing, your resources to do these kind of things and the positive momentum you have is just amazing. How much different the city's had a nice period of growth, and you can see it in this. We also don't want to ever forget to thank Mr. Newbern and the endowment that he left the city of North Platte many years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Was that left to the city like 1990-ish, Lyle? Or
That is,
roughly.
Yeah.
And that endowment still allows support for many of these projects. Not all of them, and many of them come through taxpayer and fee usage and other things.
Right.
But we can't forget to thank Mr. Newborn for the amazing endowment he gave the community. That it's still, the structure project that you were talking about did we decide, I'm trying to remember, we used Newbern money for that?
Yes, that is correct. Yep.
And so we were able to harvest just some of the earnings off the endowment to pay for that new beautiful structure that's going to be out by the Horseshoe Park.
Yeah.
And so that's been many years of assistance to the city of North Platte. What a kind thing that someone has done, and a great legacy they've created too.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of projects, anything from lighting Billwood Field to the cover over the carousel was paid for, through all them projects. A lot of projects in Centennial Park were paid for through New Bern money, and so yes, we've been blessed with a very nice gift from Mr. New Bern.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
And what a great way to leave a legacy in your community. So, well, again, such great momentum. Appreciate all the hard work you and your staffs around the city have done in these projects. I know when you do big projects like this, it takes a lot of stakeholders coming together to kind of make all these things go. So appreciate all the work that's been put into these things. And anybody specifically you want to mention as part of that?
Well, we had a great team between the city engineer, Brent, and Bob Barr.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was a wonderful team that we had to help with the construction and decision making. Bob has been, with the recreation for a lot of years. He knew the ins and outs of what was needed for a rec center, and that was neat. Brent Berglund, come in and being the engineer that he is, it was a great asset. So we had a lot of different components in there, and also even the council, their support. We tried a half-cent sales tax initiative 2 years before that, and it was mostly it was divided up between street department and the recreation. And it didn't pass, and so we were thankful that it was able to go through, as a ballot initiative. And so we have that money to use, and it was a $57 million project that
crazy.
We wouldn't have otherwise been able to even think about affording something like that. So.
Yeah. Well, it's great forward momentum for our community. So thank you for all the work, and appreciate all the efforts that everybody's put into this.
A lot of kudos to go to a lot of people.
Yeah. All right. I know we've got we normally do an asking for your friend segment here, and so I think Danielle's got that question teed up for us here.
Yes. Okay. So the question is, as you're creating your monthly budget, how much should you allocate for recreation and entertainment?
Well, again, long answer to a short question.
Yep.
The easy answer would be to say a percentage, and I would say that statistically 5 to 15% would be the norm. But the right answer to me is true budgeting is about, imagine a waterfall or buckets of money and setting your priorities, okay? I mean, first and foremost, when you create your budget, Dave Ramsey's the 4 walls concept. Right. You better take care of shelter, food, health care, the things that are necessities. You've got to prioritize those, okay? Then from there, and an auto, you got to be able to get to work.
Yes,
I mean, if you need transportation to get to work.
Yep.
From there, you got to shift. Probably your next financial priority should be risk management. Your basic insurances. You don't have to be insurance poor, but I would tell you that most people that I work with probably have a little more insurance on auto deductibles stuff they need, and are definitely underinsured for life insurance. I mean, most people should have 10 times their income or whatever number they should work with their agent on, but we see a lot of people underinsured. So again, I put that in that next set of priorities after your 4 walls. Then building that emergency fund, getting rid of unnecessary debt, and think of an emergency fund and building that as debt avoidance. If you have some money in savings and your car breaks down, well, you don't have to borrow money to do it, and that just creates more free income. From there, I go on to investing in savings, whether that be for education, for retirement savings. And so in my mind, all these items should probably come above the answer to your question.
Right.
Okay. So then we get to the fun part. One of my favorite people in this world, a guy by the name of Mark Towers, Danielle knew him well. He told us that money spending only happens for 2 things, and there's no exceptions to this rule. And he's right. One of them is solving problems, and 2 is good feelings.
Right.
So if you think of everything that money gets spent on, solving problems or good feelings. He always used the example of, well, if I go to the hardware store and I buy a drill, what's that? Am I buying a drill? He said, well, you're not buying a drill. You're buying a hole in the board. You're solving a problem.
Right.
And so I always think of money that way. And so then to me, you get into what I'd call your semi-discretionary money. That would be things like work clothes, because you need them, but you could kind of fluctuate how much you spend on them. Kids' activities, haircuts, hair dye, those types of things. Let's call it semi-discretionary.
That you walk into the True Value and get your
you walk into the True Value and get your Aquanet hairspray and your Vidal Sassoon and all that. And then you're to the discretionary stuff. Okay, this is where giving, gifts, pets, kids' sporting teams, all that stuff. That's the stuff you don't have to have, but many people want to work hard to have. And you're always working the income side and the spending side. And so to answer your question, my advice is to first prioritize all those other things in a way that you can then have the discretionary funds that you want to live your life. And if you're short, then come back to focusing on getting out of debt to create more income or free cash flow, and or doing things to try to grow your income. And that could be education, training, side hustles, all that type of stuff. And so, again, very long answer to your question. Mm-hmm. But I think the answer is manage your other priorities and budget them well in a way where you can focus on the discretionary money you want to have.
Well, the beautiful thing about what we're doing in the city of North Platte is a lot of these things that we've talked about today are run municipally and are specifically priced in a way to be affordable for our families. And that's what I love about what we've done at Cody Park, the rec center, all these sorts of things, because living in today's economy can be a little bit expensive.
Yeah, it is. Think of Nebraska Land Days.
Yes.
Nebraska Land Days, from my view, runs at about 50% of cost, maybe 50 to 60 of similar types of activities, whether that be the concerts, the rodeos, concessions. And so it ties right to what David said. Our community continues to focus on family entertainment that's affordable. Mm-hmm. It's one of our great assets here.
Yeah, and really a knock on the "there's nothing to do here" argument. And we just heard for the last half hour plenty to do here, and hope you get to take advantage of it. So, Lyle, thanks for joining us today. Appreciate it. Ty,
Pleasure.
as always, appreciate the insight. And Danielle, take us on in.
Yep. Well, that's a wrap for today. Learn more about our podcast at nebraskalandbank.com/podcast. And if you enjoyed the episode, subscribe to the show, leave us a review, and find us on Facebook. Thanks for listening to the Nebraska Land Bank podcast. Community minded, every voice, every topic, every time.